All right, now let's get into Kenzo Pour Homme by Kenzo. Now, the skyscraper bottle, this is a typical Japanese fragrance. You have a touch of aquatics, but you have the laudanum and the amber and the mossy, woodsy notes with the spices. Now, this is what you call an Oriental aquatic, kind of similar in the backbone to Issey Miyake Yoda Issey. Because in this fragrance, you have the aquatic backbone, but they build a woody aromatic kind of backbone to this as it dries down. And, this is where the amber sweetens it up, kind of warms up the scent. And, the laudanum and the mossy dry woods with the spice absolutely build this into a very in-depth fragrance. It's very deep and complex. This is not a one or two note kind of fragrance. This is actually a floral and aquatic and spicy medley, because you got to smell it a few times to really get an idea of Kenzo, because Kenzo is one of those kinds of fragrances. If you were trying to impress somebody, Kenzo Pour Homme is definitely the way to go. Like, Kenzo is probably the king of aquatics between Vulgari Aqua and, there's a few of these, but this is better than Acqua di Gio, because this fragrance really pushes the envelope, just like Hanemori HM. And what Kenzo does is they get a variety of components blended together to build a very spicy, enigmatic, and deep fragrance. And this is deep because you have a little of everything in this one. And, you have a citrus medley to give a soothing freshness to this fragrance. But as it smells fresh, this is more of an Oriental aquatic, just because you have the warmth and you have the exotic components that actually make this fragrance worthwhile. So Kenzo Pour Homme is definitely a good fragrance to wear. Now, there's a lot of people out there that'll talk about this fragrance, and, the staying power and basically sillage, very strong. This is definitely a very strong fragrance. This definitely has a lot of spice, but it almost smells like it's got some leathery wood in the dry down. But that's probably the laudanum and the mossy notes, because the laudanum and mossy notes give maybe somewhat of a somewhat chaper kind of note to it, because the moss is not as sweet. So this is not as sweet a fragrance, but the amber increases warmth without sweetness, because this has very good scent notes to it. And the quality of Kenzo is way up there. Kenzo only makes fragrances rarely. Unfortunately, they've discontinued a few very good fragrances, but Kenzo is definitely the way to go. If you're going on a date, definitely consider Kenzo. If you're an older person or in your 30s and 40s, Kenzo's the way to go, because Kenzo takes good care of the person wearing it. And Kenzo is definitely a good bang for your bucks, because Kenzo does not aim to be commercial. It aims to have quality. And so, the bottle in this one is the skyscraper bottle, just like a lot of the Japanese fragrances, which we know for a fact Japanese fragrances oftentimes are very enigmatic, unique, and they are highly creative, because this is where Hanemori was a genius putting scents together and putting things together, just like Annick Minardo. And Kenzo is no exception to this. So, this is my review, and hope it helps.